So today we're going to talk about counteroffers. So first of all, what exactly is a counteroffer? So a counteroffer is generally what's given to you as you hand in your resignation. So you've been offered by a company you've been interviewing with, and you've decided to accept that offer and have now gone to your current employer and handed in your letter of resignation. Usually, this is where if a counter offer is going to be given, this is when it would happen. It happens for quite a few different reasons. So one is panic. Your employer now has to, replace you, has to train someone new, and could potentially disrupt the harmony of their current team. Unfortunately, it probably isn't because they super want you to be on their team still. It does happen, but unlikely to be the case. Because if that were the case, they probably would be making sure that you were being kept happy up until this point. Also, should you accept this counter offer? As you can probably tell from the title, no, you should not. That's the short and quick answer. But here's why. So when you're looking at accepting a counter offer, there are some things you need to keep in mind. First of all, let's look at the stats. So the stats show that over 75% of people actually end up looking within the first 6 months to a year of accepting counter offer anyway for new opportunities. So, if you're going to be looking in 6 month time, kind of what's the point? Because a lot of people forget that there are usually more than one or two reasons as to why they are actually leaving, their current place of employment. So this is something, that you need to kind of weigh up and everything else. Also, when you try to leave a team, there is that, feeling of not feeling like you're actually part of a team anymore. That would be both from your employer's point of view, also from your teammates' point of view. I mean, if you think about it, if you're kind of in this together, and then suddenly one of your team members, becomes known that they try to leave, you're in a position where you're like, oh, you don't feel like you can kind of like bond with that person through your common trials and tribulations. It's kind of the same when you try to leave as well. Plus also long term, if you start looking at promotions, you kind of exciting new projects and everything else, if you've already have a demonstrated history of looking to leave, your current place of employment, you won't be given those top choices and everything else. So that's another thing to bear in mind. Um, Plus also, when I was working in recruitment, it was mostly quite technical industries I was working in. There weren't that many of the people that I was looking for, whether they were chemists, whether they were architects, whether they were software engineers. They tended to be, quite specialized as staff. So in the markets I was working in, which was mostly the Republic of Ireland and the UK, they tended to, number in the hundreds, of any particular profession. So if you started to garner a reputation, of somebody who would just, use counter offers to better their own situation, if you become known for that. There have been numerous occasions where I was working with a particular candidate. They'd be given an offer and everything else, and when they went to resign with their current place of employment, they were given a counter offer, and they had decided that they want to accept the counter offer. And then when those types of candidates were looking for opportunities in 6 months to a year's time, at the stats do show, suddenly the companies that I was working with, they see that I was working with these candidates in previous times, and then they'd approach me and say, hey, listen, Sam, I saw that you're working with X, Y, and Z. They didn't accept counter offer. What kind of happened? I go through the scenario, and then they said, you know what, we'll just kind of park them on the bench. We have other candidates that we'd rather invest our time in. But I also kind of want to use this time to reiterate that, this does not mean you have to accept every offer that's given to you. When you're talking with your new potential employer and you're hashing out exactly what it is that you are looking to get out of that offer, once that has been finalized, once that has been agreed upon, and both parties are happy with what's been decided, and you have verbally accepted that offer, you know, if you were to go back to your current employer and, you know, they do make a counter offer, that just reflects badly on you as well. You know, that now that employer is going to think, right, you know, this candidate, you know, has, you know, we bent over backwards and forwards, or we've negotiated back and forth, however it happened for you personally. You know, and now they've just kind of gone back and said, oh, I got something better, I'm more comfortable where I am now. So that again besmirches your own personal reputation. So those are kind of the main reasons why you shouldn't accept a counteroffer, you know. And so some people panic, I find, you know, because it is scary, you know, it's scary moving to a new job. And, you know, as recruiters, we totally understand that. You know, I've had a few different jobs myself, and it's terrifying you know, you know, a place that you know quite well, you know, you understand how everything works, and then suddenly you're being put into this new situation. You know, it might even have the added you know challenge of relocation, which again, you know, all of these factors, you know, they are scary. But those are things that you need to think about, you know, you know, what's important to you, whether you're going to accept this offer. Because once you verbally accepted that offer, you know, then, you know, that's when your reputation starts becoming on the line. So those are just kind of a couple of few reasons as to why you should not accept a counteroffer. You know, I have a few more reasons, I suppose, on the blog that I have, recruitersreport.com. Feel free to have a look. There's loads of stuff on there, you know, about counter offers, you know, how to negotiate, you know, better salaries and stuff like that. So feel free to give it a look, and let me know what you thought about this video. You know, and feel free to like and subscribe. And if there's anything in particular that you want me to tackle, you know, feel free to let me know. Cheers.